Now that we've finished with the Natural Creations installation, we're going to start to install the rejuvenations. Whenever you're installing a sheet vinyl product to a tile product such as a luxury vinyl tile or a vinyl composition tile, you may have a slight gauge variation. So what we're going to do is we're going to build up transition between the sheet flooring and the Natural Creations. We're going to do that by taking a 1-foot piece of scribing felt and we're going to adhere that to the subfloor. We're then going to float that with a Portland cement patch. Once that's dry, we'll make sure that it's smooth, and that'll give us a nice even transition between the two products. Okay, now we're ready to start installing the floor. We've cut the piece to length plus a couple of extra inches for fitting the material. What Ron and Doug are doing right now is they're using a piece of scrap to actually take a measurement. This is called strip measuring, and once they put this piece of scrap under and then mark the back of the vinyl, they're going to put that piece of scrap against the wall underneath the material, lay it up against the back of the material, and make a mark where the scrap piece of material ends. That's going to give them a measurement to the wall. Now they're going to lay this back and they're going to cut from mark to mark, and that's going to get them very, very close to that wall. We don't have to have a perfect fit on this wall because we have the base molding and then we have wall base going down over top of that. We're going to be doing a design in this floor. What Ron and Doug did is they've gone ahead and they fit underneath that base plate, and then they've cut some extra away. All this material over here is going to be scrapped because they're getting ready to lay this floor out, and there's going to be a curve in this floor. It's going to be part of the design. So that was excess material that we really didn't need for this floor. What that does is that helps eliminate a little bit of area that they don't have to try to fit around. They can just go ahead and cut their curve and have the floor laying nice and flat, and then continue with the rest of the installation. Now we've used a pre-cut template to draw the arc for the floor. Ron's now cutting along that pencil line and will fit the next pieces of flooring to that arc. After carefully measuring and checking the drawing, what we're going to do is we're going to split this piece down the center. This piece is going to be our border on each side of the room. The border is going to be in a curved shape, so we're splitting this down. We're going to lay these pieces in place, cut them to fit with the curve in place, and then we're going to start laying out the ends and the field. Doug and Ron are now marking the arc for this border piece. What they're going to do is, as soon as they're finished marking this, they're going to cut the arc, and then they're going to repeat this process on the other side of the room so that both borders are exactly the same. With custom installations, there are several ways to do the layout. In this particular case, we've elected to lay out the borders and the insets first and fit the field to the borders and insets. In some cases, you may want to install the field first and then fit the borders to the field. Every job will present its own unique situation. The second piece will be overlapped 1/4 to 1/2 inch, and that will be recess scribed, creating the seam. What we're doing now is we're getting ready to spread the adhesive. Because of the way that we've laid this out, we're going to be able to spread the adhesive in sections. We're going to lay the field back, and because of the way this is laid out, we have the luxury of laying the border pieces that are curved back as well. We're going to spread the adhesive in that entire area up to the inset pieces at the end. Once the field and the border is in, then we're going to do the end pieces in sections. Okay, now we're finishing up the last couple pieces of the installation. The last 2 fill pieces at the end and the border will be adhered. Once those are down and rolled, we'll need to wait at least 10 hours before we can heat weld these seams. You want to give the adhesive time to set and dry out prior to heat welding so that the seams don't come loose from the heat gun. Because this is a high traffic area, we've elected to heat weld the seams in this hallway. As I mentioned before, you want to wait a minimum of 10 hours prior to heat welding the seams, and that's so the adhesive has time to cure. Ron's grooving the seams right now, and he's going to put a groove 1/2 to 3/4 of the way through the material in order to heat weld this seam. Ron has also elected to use a hand groover as opposed to a power groover to groove the seams. Okay, after the welding is completed, you want to trim the excess weld rod off. When you're trimming that off, it's called skiving, and you want to skive that in 2 passes. The first pass, you want to use a skiving plate, or what's called a trim plate, to take the bulk of the excess material off. We'll then come back with a skiving knife and cut the excess weld rod off smooth and flush to the material. Now that the flooring has been installed, the seams have been welded, we're ready to put the finishing touches on the job, and that's installing the wall base. Installing the wall base isn't very difficult, but if it's not done properly, the wall base won't stay. What you want to do is you want to get your wall base fit, apply the adhesive to the back of the wall base. Once the adhesive is applied to the back of the wall base, you'll set the base in place and make sure that you roll it thoroughly to seat the wall base onto the wall and into the adhesive. For more information on our maintenance procedures, visit our website at armstrong.com or floorexpert.com. Now that we've given you a glimpse of what you can do with our commercial floors, just think of the possibilities you have with Armstrong Flooring to rejuvenate your space.